As I'm beginning my homily, you're getting a free gift. You know, we Catholics like free gifts. 50 days ago, you were here getting ashes. 2 weeks ago, you were here getting some palm. That parish bulletin is so important. If Father Luke doesn't have it ready for you, he gets crucified. So today you're getting a gift from Cross Catholic. It's a flyer with explanation of all of our works. And I would ask you to put it aside for a moment and we'll go through it together. I am Father McLaughlin. I hail from Providence, Rhode Island, the smallest state in the Union. I have been retired for 8 years, almost 9 years now. And in that time, I've been working for Cross Catholic 26 weekends, 26 to 30 weekends a year. And I'm honored to be here today and our first visit with you. And I'm very grateful for the invitation given to us by Father Luke, and to be here to give him a little bit of a break while he is recuperating from the Holy Week liturgies. It's always been a theme in parish rectories at Easter Sunday to make the announcement, Christ may be risen, but me and the staff are dead. So he's entitled to a few days away. One day a man came home from work and his wife greeted him at the door, honey, I have some bad news to tell you about the car. Don't even think about it. I've had a rotten day at work. All I want to hear right now is good news. Pausing for a few seconds, his wife smiled and said sweetly, okay, dear, you'll be happy to know that the car's airbag system worked just perfectly fine today. We all like to hear good news, and the weekend that we celebrate of the second Sunday of Easter, the octave, the eighth day, which we as a church have celebrated almost as a single day since last Sunday, and it gives us an opportunity to slowly reflect on the effects of the resurrection. And the liturgy of Easter and Easter octave and the Easter season, which runs right through until Pentecost, reminds us over and over again of the beauty of this particular season and what it's meant to be for us. The effects of Jesus' resurrection. What are those effects? There's a transforming, transfiguring type of process going on, and we hear about this in the Acts of the Apostles each and every Sunday from now until Pentecost. It tells us of the life of the early Christian communities as they began to develop. And those particular stories are wonderful to hear. We hear of the gratitude in the responsorial psalm this morning. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His love is everlasting. The first reading, again, has one of three idyllic summaries given to us by Luke. This one tells us of the proper use of material goods, sharing in common, how they brought their goods to the apostles and the apostles distributed them as needed. The emphasis of Luke in the Acts of the Apostles was so important. And in the reading from John, we hear about the sure sign that you love God is that we keep his commandment. And the only real commandment in the Johannine tradition is what Jesus told us. Love one another as I have loved you. And we finally go to the gospel, my favorite gospel, because it is about something that we all gather at times. In a sense, we're in the upper room this morning. I don't know if the doors are locked. There are some doors on the outside of the church locked, but we're here not because of the fear of anything, but we're here because of our love of God. But Jesus appeared in that upper room for a reason. He made the promise at the Last Supper to his disciples to give them the gift of peace and the gift of the Paraclete, the Holy Spirit. And he does that, and then he sends them forth. He sends them forth to go out. The second weekend, the second appearance, the crucified one appears. The one who Thomas didn't believe until he saw the nail marks and the sword mark and the crown marks on his body. And it gave Thomas the ability to cry out, "My Lord, my God." One of my favorite little aspirations. I try to say it every time I see the host and I see the cup. And I have been so impressed in 53 years as a priest, traveling around for Cross Catholic, how I hear that from so many different people at Mass at the consecration. And you hear it sort of subtly in a whispering tone, "My Lord and my God." Thomas was transformed from non-believer through believer through physical signs, nail marks, sword marks, the leftover remnants of the crown of thorns. Through the next 40 days of Easter, right until Pentecost, the church proclaims over and over and over again that God's unfailing love can change a sinner into a saint. Hallelujah! I can make it. I can be a saint, even though I am a sinner. God takes us by the hand. Jesus takes us by the hand to build a better world for the love of God. This morning, I would like to share with you a way that you can do that, and that is through Cross Catholic. And we have as our mission, and we are only a very young ministry organization that has already been given canonical status by Pope Francis I. And our goal is to mobilize the global Catholic Church to transform the poor and their communities materially and spiritually for the greater glory of God, ad maiorem Dei gloriam. And how do we do that? Well, our annual report gives a good coverage of how we've been doing that. Through our mission, our vision, to become united as a church, overcoming material and spiritual poverty. We are obedient to God. We have a Catholic identity. We try to empower, to give joyful service, make good use of stewardship, an option for the poor, and the love of others. And we try to do that as best we can. We do that with three main objectives: feed the hungry, give drink to the thirsty. Secondly, love the orphan, and transform the poor and their communities. And how do we do that? Well, if you'll pick up your flyer, we can go through it together. Sister T, she's not any relation to Mr. T, nor does she own any shares in the tomato drink company. I call her Sister T for a simple reason. There are 11 vowels in her name, and 11 consonants in her name, and only one vowel. You try to pronounce it. She's a lovely Franciscan. She's been working in Kenya for quite a while, and she works at a school, St. Clare, Francis, and Philomena, with Father Jason. It's a 3-level school, birth to pre-K, pre-K to the end of elementary, and then what we would call junior high. And these two children that she's holding have been with her for a while. Typical of many children in developing countries, they're found roaming the streets, they're found at the door of the convent or the door of the school. Others are just wrapped in newspaper and left in the gutter. These two children, brother and sister, were left in the gutter, and somebody just fortunately found them there. And you can tell that Sister has done a good job in bringing them up to speed as to where they should be. They're properly dressed. They certainly look properly fed. Sister T is a wonderful, wonderful, lovely woman. Before we go to the next portion of our flyer, I have an announcement to make. And Father Luke is very happy about this particular announcement. There is no collection for Cross Catholic. Kabish? Please do not put these in the basket, okay? If you've prepared them and want to give it to me at the door of the church, I'll be here for quite a while. My plane doesn't go back to Providence till after 7 o'clock, so I've got a lot of time. But let's go into the full open up area, and let's look at how people like yourselves, some that I've met in the parish, have been given to Cross Catholic from other areas that they have met us. But these particular examples here are how people are helping us presently. The first one, which answers the one about feeding the hungry. We have developed a way of doing that through the use of Vita food mix bags, size of a minute rice, bag of rice. We get these big, huge vats of rice and protein and soy, and they have to be packaged into a package smaller than this. And we are very grateful to a wonderful fraternal group in this country, of which I'm a member, very proudly, the Knights of Columbus. Over the past 3 years, they have been packing these for us at various events around the country, and they're now approaching the 2 million mark. So we're very grateful to them. And through their example, high schools and college campuses and that have developed these packing Saturdays, as we call them. That package can feed a family of 6 a nourishing meal. When I forgot the package this weekend, but if I hold that package up, I have some people say to me after, "Father, I could eat the whole thing." So could I. I'm just a growing boy. But I haven't been starving for weeks at a time. So that particular package. And a donation of $50 enables us to feed 330 children through that particular food program. You and your spouse could not go out to dinner today for less than that. Even at just a chain restaurant, it adds up very quickly. Just think about that. Skipping one Sunday dinner at a restaurant could help 330 children. When I first joined Cross Catholic, I met a priest who belongs to the Society of the Most Holy Trinity, of which Father James, a friend of Father Rossi's, who is here this weekend exactly, the Society of the Most Holy Trinity, based in Texas. And Father Glenn arrived in Cobanol in Haiti, and when he arrived there, the infant mortality rate, 90 percentile. He had brought it down to about 35 percentile through the efforts of his bishop and other agencies, building a natal center, prenatal, postnatal. That particular aspect has changed because of the horrible turmoil that's going on in Haiti at this present time. I could tell you stories that would make your hairs stand up if you have any. It's just heartrending. But that particular agency, that center, prenatal, mom is prepared properly with a midwife, so she has good hygiene, good health, takes care of herself, and postnatal. The custom in Haiti and many developing countries, the child is born at home. A donation similar to this one listed here can help continue that. One of the things that we have found in our journey is the need to transform the poor, and that is done through education, educare, the Latin verb to draw forth, to lead forth. And we do that through small loans where they can begin to develop a small agency or develop a farm on their land. But it's through learning to read and to write and to develop skills. And this woman up on the top of the page has done just that. Look at that house that she was living in. Stone and mud and straw. Very insecure and very unsafe. She went through the program and was able to develop a skill that has led her to be able to move into, with the help of several people in the community, a cinder block, cement slab, steel roof, wood shutters and door home. 4 rooms, boys' room, girls' room, parents' room, living space, kitchen, latrine, but still both outside. The $500 donation develops programs to establish good wells and water systems, and a house like Maria's costs about close to $14,000, but the $2,500 becomes a big assistance starting that. These are all the ways that people have been helping us in so many different ways. And when we come over to this page, yes, I'm asking for money. That's why I'm here this morning, and I'm praying that you can help us in the best ways that you can. 5% of what we earn goes to overhead salaries, advertising, and we're very cautious, very cost conscious about what we do. 95% of all donations go to the poor. We do a prayer service every Tuesday morning. We pray for our donors, so if you have any of these petitions you'd like to put in, just put them there, and they will be prayed for on a Tuesday morning. I can attest to that. We do it by Zoom. Many of our workers are spread out through the country. Thanks to COVID, they went back to working from home, saving over $600,000 in operating costs because we've given up one of the places that we had for offices. Name and address, there's a purpose in that. We're accountable. We want to tell you what we're doing with the money that you provide us with. We're transparent. We don't like to hide anything. You can do it by credit card, PayPal. You can use the QR block or your phone as it's instructed there. Or you can use cash, check or money order if you're mailing it, cash if you're doing something today. You have an envelope. Let's go back and visit Sister T. Okay, right next to her is a preparation. You now have two separate things. This flap becomes the flap of an envelope. Seal it. Self-addressed stamped envelope. United States Post Office will have it to our donation processing center within a matter of days. Or if you wanted to do something today, you certainly can do that by just handing it to me as you're going out the door of the church. I thoroughly am honored to be here with so many seminarians. It's nice to know that there's a group of good men. In your diocese, more than just a few. And it's very honored to be with them today and to know that the church will be in good hands after I have gone. I want to thank Father Luke for the invitation to be here today. It's an honor to be in such a beautiful church with such a large worshiping community. You know, this Sunday has 3 or 4 different names. It's the second Sunday within the octave. It's the 8th day. It's also Divine Mercy Sunday. But in many circles, it's called Low Sunday. And that came about partially through our Anglican brethren who referred to it as Low Sunday. The attendance last week was very high. And in most parishes, the Sunday after Easter, it's very low. So it became nicknamed Low Sunday. I don't think that applies to the parish of St. Michael's. If this is Low Sunday, I would have liked to have been here last Sunday. I want to thank your bishop, Bishop Peter, for allowing us to come to the diocese. But most importantly, I want to thank you, the people of God of St. Michael's faith community. You're here this morning, you're full of faith, you're full of vigor, you're full of love of God, and hopefully that love can extend to the poorest of the poor. And certainly we are most grateful if you can do that. As we hear in the scriptures today, the primary focus of the early community was the sharing of common goods. St. John reminds us that God is love, and Jesus sends us forth, breathed upon in baptism, given the spirit of the Paraclete, and sent forth with the faith where we can cry out, "My Lord and my God."